do you agree that the reason for putting a price on carbon is in large part to make other things more viable, or to make gas and renewables able to be brought in to replace coal?
Well, I think that the point about the price on carbon really is that it's about trying to, in economic speak, put a price on that externality. And the effect of putting a price on carbon is that you're likely to see fuel and technology switching in the electricity industry. So what drives which is a fair question. But I'm presuming that we're starting from the place that says emissions and climate change are real, therefore you need to do something about it. We think that we ought to give some investment confidence here, because really what's happening is we're not building new large-scale generation right now. We're not doing that because we don't know, and our members don't know, what the carbon regime is into the future. And our wholesale market is one of the most competitive in the world. Without a clear price signal on that carbon, then you could very quickly find that you made an investment that was stranded.
But what sort of price on carbon per tonne do you think is required to meet the targets that both political parties have in place?
Well, the modelling we'd done in the past, and which broadly in the end accorded with the Treasury's old CPRS -5 modelling, saw that we needed a carbon price that started at about $22 a tonne in 2012, and I think it rose to around $55 a tonne in 2008 dollars by 2020. So it was rising fairly consistently there, but 22 through to about 55.
And what would that do to the price of electricity, on top of what we've been discussing
on top
now?
of what we've just talked about? Well, it certainly pushes the price of electricity up still further. At $22 a tonne, just to run through the maths of it, on average, very rough rule of thumb, about 1 tonne of CO2 is emitted for 1 megawatt hour of electricity. At the moment, we're seeing wholesale trades of a megawatt hour of electricity somewhere around between $27 and $30. If you apply a carbon price of say $22 onto that, you're increasing the energy component, somewhere between 100 near enough to 60%. Now, the rough metrics have been that energy is about 50% of the cost of the finally delivered product to a residential consumer. So maybe you're talking about price increases of 20% to start with, and probably rising over time as you see that carbon price increase.
Well, a $55 per tonne price on carbon in 2020 would double prices, electricity prices, wouldn't it?
It would.
On top of the doubling that we've already talked about.
Correct.
So we're talking about a four-fold increase in electricity prices.
Quite possibly.
If I pay a bill of $100 today, within say 6, 7, 8 years, I'll be paying $400.
I think that's conceivable, and I think that most of the modelling that's been put out by those who say it's all easy and it's easily done have made quite heroic assumptions about energy efficiency and a range of other trade-offs to actually pull down that price. But from our perspective, we would expect that you're talking about those sorts of increases over those 10 years.
That's an enormous rise. It underpins inflation and means interest rates have to stay high for a long time.
I think it absolutely has those sorts of potential impacts, and it's why I think Ross Garnaut got it right in his description of it being a diabolical problem. It's a diabolical problem globally if we don't do something, if the science is accurate, and we don't doubt that the science is accurate. On the other hand, the dislocation effect of some of these large price increases on your economy could actually, taken to the extremes, really harm your own ability to undertake the sort of action that's required. I think the point we've been trying to make consistently is that climate change measures do not come cheaply, and they certainly do not come for free. And to make any sort of substantial impact on Australia's emissions, especially from the electricity generation sector, inevitably means that you are going to change out a very large proportion of the current generation capacity. And we invest in generation at the rate of billions of dollars per unit. We don't invest a couple of $1 million. And that investment is in the ground for the next 40 and 50 years, and it's got a 20 to 25 year payback.